Hi, I'm Katherine Robinson. I own Wildwood Aromas and I am a certified aromatherapist and an EFT practitioner. And I wanted to come to you today to talk about what is an EFT, how it can benefit you, so why should I think you should use it. If I look off to the side here, it's because my notes are there because I don't want to miss anything. And I tend to stumble over words, and that's okay. That's just a part of me, and I cope with it. And you will too. Or not, your choice, right? So, I love tapping. I actually started tapping myself for myself several years ago. Um, and I really found very quickly that it brought me a lot of benefits. And then I was tapping through an issue I wanted to resolve, and my aromatherapist brain kicked in and said, "Hey, if we add this essential oil to it, it'll get even better." I found that it was so. And then I decided I wanted to bring this out. Now, there are other aromatherapists out there who use tapping, there's therapists who use tapping, but I'm me. So I'm going to bring it out too. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I wish that everybody could use it. And no, you don't have to go through me to use it, but I can help. Okay, so what is it? EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, or tapping. It's a way of having a conversation with yourself that allows the part of your brain that holds on to things to let it go. So let's put it this way. You have a logical brain. The logical brain can tell the emotional brain all day long that it's safe, it's not fixing to get eaten by a tiger, but the emotional brain is locked down and it's scared and it can't hear when it's scared. You know, when you are scared of something literally fixing to attack you, you go into fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, and the brain does not think. You can't think or hear very clearly. But the brain will get trapped in that. And sometimes it's a true emotion, and sometimes it's an emotion that it just happened and it's ready. We're ready for it to go. We're ready, say, to be able to speak in front of people. But if this part of the brain says, no, we're not, then it's difficult to do it. So tapping on various points on the body, acupuncture without needles, if you will, is a way to help that part of the brain feel seen, heard, calm, relaxed, safe, and secure, and let go. And then you can bring in the positive. You yourself know that when you're talking to someone, having a conversation, say your best friend, they've known you forever, when you're telling them something, you just feel that they see you, they hear you, and they acknowledge you, and how good that makes you feel. That's what we're doing here. Um, let's see. Yeah, see, I told you I would lose words. Okay, let's go on. Why should you use it? Okay. I think that one of the best ways to use it is for anxiety and stress, daily stress that just happens all day long, or a big event. EFT is a way to calm the body down, lower the stress hormone, which is cortisol. Studies have shown that tapping can reduce that hormone, dial down that response. And that's very, very good. It can improve your sleep quality when you try to go to bed at night and your mind is racing and spinning and you can't get it to quiet down. You can run a tapping sequence and it will help it to calm down. You can use it to ease physical discomfort, though I have found that it's more dealing with the emotional component of the physical issue that makes it feel better, right? So, say you are walking or running and you trip and you break your leg. Well, you have the actual physical pain of a broken bone, the muscles may be strained, you maybe scraped your skin, maybe even hurt your hands when you went to grab yourself to keep yourself from hitting too hard. Well, that is a physical issue, but you also have the emotional impact of that accident. So you have the insecurity, the fear now of falling and breaking something else. You have Hmm. If you weren't paying necessarily close attention and that's why it happened, then you probably may even have anger at yourself. How could I do this? How could I not pay attention? How could I let this happen? If someone wrecked and caused you to break your leg, then maybe you're angry at them. How could they do this to me? How could this happen? If you can't go to work, then you've got the fear of what am I going to do? I can't work. How am I even going to walk around my house? All of these are emotional components. You can use tapping to calm and release those fear, stress, whatever emotional components of the physical pain, which actually can make the physical pain easier to deal with. You can enhance your focus and productivity. It may be a little different if you have ADHD, but it may not. I don't know. But when you find yourself floating around your house or your office doing everything but what you need to actually do, try doing a round of tapping. Get it in gear, get it aligned, get back in focus. You can build emotional resilience. It can strengthen your ability to handle challenges and bounce back from setbacks with greater ease. Now, me personally, I'm the kind of person that when I'm in the zone and I'm going and I'm great, and someone comes in and says, "Hey, I need you to stop that and take care of this," I don't handle it very well. I don't handle it emotionally. I'm like, no, go away. And I just don't like getting knocked off track. Well, if I can tell that person, give me just a minute here and run a quick round of tapping, then I can stand up, deal with that transition easier, go do that, and then come back, maybe even do another round to get me back in focus for what I'm working on. It can also support healing from trauma. Now, I myself am not certified to help you if you are needing to use tapping to deal with trauma. I do know therapists and coaches who can help you. If you need that kind of resource, just let me know. But I will let you know that it is greatly beneficial. And if you can talk to someone who can get you through the trauma and use tapping to help you, I encourage that. And essential oils, because as an aromatherapist, that's how I use it. I want you to use essential oils because those go into the emotional part of the brain also and can help us with our emotional balance. So you can use it, say you were struggling to sleep. You can use certain essential oils to improve the sleep and the stress response and lower it and help you go out and have a better night. There are essential oils for focus and productivity that you need to focus, you can. Any of the wood oils are very good if you need to feel more secure and stable. Any of the citrus oils are good to bring the mood up and make you feel better. Lavender is a nice one for everybody. I personally love frankincense and lemon. The combination is one that I tend to keep, and I have peppermint often too because peppermint will help stimulate mental energy. So when I need to focus, I grab those three. The important thing is to use an essential oil that you love. If I tell you, hey, for this situation, frankincense is wonderful, and you can't stand the smell of frankincense, it's not going to do you any good to use it. Choose one that you love, that you resonate with. It's important to use it when you're releasing the negative, but I think it's just as important to use it when you're bringing in the positive because it helps to anchor in the positive side, brings in that emotional state that you want to attain, the joy, the peace, the calm, and that helps to reinforce it. Okay. I also like to encourage everybody to drink water when they tap. When your brain is dehydrated, your cognitive function and your emotional state of mind are impacted. You can look that up. Studies have shown that. So drink water. It helps you during a session and after a session to integrate what you've worked on. I know it sounds silly, and I know you're like, no. It does. I promise. Just give it a try and you'll see. Now, how do you tap? You can't do it wrong. Let's start with that. I'm going to let you know that right off the bat, it's really hard to do it wrong. There are certain points that you want to tap, but if you, for some reason, skip one, don't panic. Don't think, oh no, I messed it up and I have to start all over again because I missed a point. It's fine. Go to the next point. You may be in a situation where you can only use one or two of the points. That's fine. Just use those 2 points. I'm dealing with some lymph issues. I promise it looks worse than it actually is. But then there's a tapping point that's difficult for me to use, so I haven't been using it since the 1st of December when I got this arm wrapped. I won't use it until it's done. And it's okay. It does not detract from my tapping sessions. You start basically with what you call a setup. So we tap on the karate chop, but I'll show you on this hand because kind of hard to see, right? So it's the side of your hand. You take 3 fingers and you just tap right here. And you say the setup phrases. These are kind of your intentions, what you want to work on, okay? And then you start with the top of the head. Now you can tap flat. You can tap this way. You can tap with both hands. You can tap a little bit with the right, and then maybe you can do a couple of rounds with your left. Doesn't matter. You do what's comfortable for you. Understand, though, that we are not driving into the skin. We're tapping the skin, okay? If you're hurting, you're doing it too hard, back up, okay? The next point is right here where the eyebrow ends, and you just tap. That's more along the line here, but I don't want you to get so focused on that you have to be in the exact right spot that you're not getting yourself any benefit, okay? So just use 2 fingers. You'll cover it. You're good. Then you have one here on the side of your eye. Take my glasses off. You'll feel the bone right here. If you just put the edge of this finger at the bone and then tap, you've got it. The next one is right here. Also along the edge of that bone. Don't tap too close to the eye, but just right here. And again, not driving it in, just gently tapping. Next one here. And if you have really long fingernails and don't want to stab yourself, tap like this. Okay, and then here. And then you have one in your collarbone. Now you have a collarbone, kind of bit of a notch right here, yeah? Right in there, there's an indentation. And some people, it can be a little tender. Honestly, I don't know why. I'm not bothered to look that up. But that's where you tap. I like to tap on both sides, both collarbone points at the same time, but you can tell that's a little difficult for me. So I take my fingers like this, and I tap this way, and I catch them both. I've seen some people tap like this. That's good. You're probably getting that point, but let's try and keep it in the area at least. And I find for my fingers that I'm just about right on it. Not okay. And then the other one, the one that I'm finding a little difficult at the moment, is right here under the arm. Just a few inches down from the armpit, about if you were a woman where your bra strap is. But it's hard for me to keep raising my arm up and down. So I haven't been using that one. Again, it's hard to do it wrong. What do you do if you are out and about and you need to run some tapping to calm yourself down, but you can't? You don't want people to see, or you don't have the time, or you're whatever. Just tap right here on the collarbone. If people see you tapping, maybe they think you have an itch, right? I personally have found, and if you find different, then okay. But I personally find that this is the fastest way for me to calm my fight or flight response. When I get really, really nervous and really, really stressed, and it just flares up and I'm very overwhelmed, I just start tapping on this point. If I have an essential oil, I will add it. But if I'm out where I don't have one, which isn't likely as I'm an aromatherapist, carry them with me. But if I don't have easy access to one, just tap. If you're in a tapping session with someone or in a group or watching a YouTube video and you start to feel anxious and overwhelmed during the session, you can just start tapping here. Stop saying what they're saying. stop repeating the words, and just tap. The important thing is not to stop tapping, especially if you're overwhelmed and anxious. You just relax and tap until you calm back down. If you want to, you can stand up and walk in place, but keep tapping. You may want to like shake your shoulders or move your hips. We store a lot of anxiety in our hips, so just stand up or sit, rock back in place, but keep tapping until you feel calm. Now, if you hit a point in every session and you hit that anxiety, or if you tap and you don't get a resolution to the problem, there may be something underlying what you think is going on. I'll give you an example. For years, I wouldn't allow myself to sleep. Now, this is not I couldn't sleep, I wouldn't sleep. It was a way of punishing myself, and we don't need to get into all the big reasons why, but tapping wasn't helping. Essential oils were not helping. Talking to everybody under the sun, getting all these ideas was not helping. But then I was listening to a podcast and something clicked and a memory resurfaced. And I was like, oh, that's it. And so I tapped on that old problem and resolved that. And now when I find myself slipping back into that, I'm not going to sleep, I can tap and I can go to bed and go to sleep. So if you're not getting resolution or it's too much, you may need to talk to someone. There may be some trauma in there that you need to kind of dig in and get out, or you may not be tapping on the main reason and you need to resolve that first. That is where working with a practitioner can help. Oftentimes, we can see what you can't see and we can see what you won't see. Okay. Um, let's see. When I tap through a session, what I like to do is I like to tap all the negatives out first. Now, I've heard the phrase, don't speak negative out because you're going to bring it about. In this case, I disagree with that. You're needing to say all the negative things as you tap because that is what the emotional brain needs. That is the conversation with yourself. All the stress, all the grief, all the regret, all the stress, all the anger, whatever the situation is that you are resolving, you need to say the negative. Then, when that is released, maybe that will take 1 round, maybe that will take 2 rounds, however long it takes. You tap until you feel good and complete and that it's gone. Then you bring in the positive side, okay? We tap on the possibilities. We tap on being open to change, being open to whatever it is that we want to bring in, being open and the possibilities and the determination that this is your new course. Then I like to do what's called a dream seek question at the very, very end, which is what needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to my awareness for, and then fill in the blank. What is it that you need to know about what we have just worked with to make it better? Um, so we're going to do a tapping later on about bringing in a great 2025. So what needs to be healed, released, aligned, brought to my awareness for me to have a great 2025? Now that's a broad one. You might want to narrow it down. For me to resolve this health issue, for me to make more money, for me to have a better business this year, right? Make it personal, journal it. I like to recommend at least a week. You can write it 3 times in your journal at night before you go to bed and believe that the answer will come. You know how when you're in that twilight sleep right before you go to sleep, great thoughts will pop into your brain, or you'll be like, oh, of course. Okay. Is when it can happen. Or right as you're waking up, That same thing will happen. Great thoughts come in, problem solutions will show up. You're just, it'll pop in, okay? Or you may even dream it. Some people do that. You can write it in the morning and then have faith that what you need will show up during the day. You're just asking for this to be resolved. And what do you need to know to resolve it? What do you need to heal to resolve it? You can say it as a prayer, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? But believe that by asking this, something will show up that's for you, and it will. Now, if you have any more questions, you can reach me at wildwoodaromas.com. You can reach me through email, Catherine at wildwoodaromas.com. You're welcome to ask me anything you like. I will always be glad to answer your questions. I would encourage you to do some more exploration, either with me or someone else. I just really think that this is such a great benefit and such a fantastic way to help yourself have a better life, have a better year, have better health, better emotional stability, better whatever you want. Release the negative, bring in the positive, and have a great life.